as an individual, if my doctor's telling me that I'm having some issues with my thyroid, obviously they're going to want to put you on a medication. They're not going to do a lot of root cause analysis because it's an if this then, as you said, then the pill. That's the current training. What can we do ourselves to kind of support the thyroid and to heal? Maybe without that medication, but maybe we're supported with that medication until, like I said, I was able to get to a point where I thought this doesn't make sense that I'm on this for the rest of my life. I just want to see if I still need it after I've healed a lot of other things that were going on.
Yeah, and bravo to you for doing that. That's amazing. So there's lots of things that affect the thyroid. So there's lifestyle is a huge one, right? So sleep, good enough sleep is really, really critical. Too much stress can definitely affect your thyroid, just like most things. And then and some emotional trauma. Emotional trauma can ignite a thyroid to go hypothyroid. So a very bad life event or stressful emotional event can trigger that. It usually can trigger antibodies. Pregnancy is something that really tends to trigger autoimmunity as well with the thyroid. And then there's food, and food is a huge thing that we have control over, right? So gluten is the number one thing that I would remove for anybody with thyroid concerns. Gluten really isn't a health food. We have our gluten is different than it used to be. Our I can go on and on and on about gluten, but it helps cause leaky gut, which doesn't help the thyroid. It's not helpful for a thyroid. So I would remove gluten immediately and thoroughly. Um, soy is not really the soy and thyroid don't really get along. So soy lecithin, that is really a stabilizer in most foods, a lot of processed foods, but even chocolates have a lot of soy lecithin. So soy products, edamame, soy sauce, things like that, I would remove that. Dairy is not my favorite with thyroid or inflammation. So gluten, dairy, and soy would be things that I would, if you're really looking to be very aggressive with treating a thyroid, those are the things that I would remove. And then sugar is, it's not our friend, even though we think it is, but it really isn't. And so sugar wouldn't be something that I would do, but lots of green leafies that have lots of nutrients and folates and things like that. Protein, fat, and fiber is what I usually say. That's what we can sustain ourselves for long term, and make sure you're sourcing your meats and your fishes very cleanly. It's very hard. It's becoming harder and harder and harder, unfortunately, but that's a really big factor. Um, and um, and alcohol. So alcohol wouldn't be something that I would say, have enjoy on a regular basis with a challenging thyroid. Exercise, movement of the body is really, really important, but not too much exercise. So too hardcore, marathon runners and really a lot of aerobic exercise puts a little bit of strain and stress on the thyroid. So that is not something, maybe more yoga or walking, or maybe one spin class a week versus 7 days a week, that kind of thing is really much better for the thyroid. And toxins are a big factor in thyroid health. So make sure you are decreasing your toxic load with all your cleaning products and your candles and your deodorant and your beauty products and shampoo. I mean, we're inundated, right? It's the average American female comes in contact with over 200 toxins just before she's left the bathroom each morning. So we're bombarded by toxins. And the other thing I would say is vitamin D is really important for thyroid health. So make sure your vitamin D levels are between 80 and 100, and make sure you're having a good vitamin D with vitamin K. There's a very popular brand that's sold all over the country that is that most people bring into my office. A lot of people do. And there's soybean oil and corn oil in the actual vitamin, and there is no vitamin K in it, so you can't even absorb it. It's crazy. So yes, you have to look at your ingredient list on your supplements as well as your food. Crazy that we have to do that, but we do. And clean water, things like that. Just make sure your toxic load is really decreased. And then there are things that can cause thyroid issues like Epstein-Barr virus. If it's an activated virus in your system, then it can dysregulate blood sugar and thyroid and cause up to 33 autoimmune diseases. So those viruses and pathogens, bacterial infections, things like that. And oral health is really important as well. So make sure that your teeth are in good shape, you're flossing, and there's no oral bacterias that are causing infections.
Okay.